Look at Bitcoin inching closer to the key psychological level of $10,000. Right now, we're trading around $9,700, as you can see there, just shy of that. Now, I caught up once again with the CEO of Lolli. It's a Bitcoin reward system that literally gives you cash back in the form of the cryptocurrency Bitcoin when you make purchases with their retail partners. Take a listen.
What we're trying to do is create the easiest way for people to get into Bitcoin, and we've done so through a cashback model. We partner with merchants, and then those merchants pay us when our users shop their site, and then we send people free Bitcoin to their Lolli wallets. And so what we've seen is a lot of people, Lolli is their first Bitcoin wallet and their first experience in crypto as a whole.
It's Bitcoin back, basically, so
yeah.
Cash back, but crypto back on other purchases. So in the last few months since we spoke to you, talk to me about user growth, talk to me about the merchants that you're signing on, because you do have some big names on board with this.
We do. I mean, everyone from like Priceline to Glossier to Expedia. We have like over 950 merchants. We're almost at 1,000.
Wow.
And these merchants are coming on board because it's the easiest way for the merchants to get into Bitcoin as well. So it's not just the consumers that we've created an easy on-ramp. We're getting mass merchant adoption, and I think some of the biggest merchants in the world have already joined us today.
So can you use your Bitcoin points, your Lolli wallet, to buy things on Expedia, for example? Is it that sophisticated yet, or is this simply cashback rewards, you're accruing Bitcoin and you become an owner of a portfolio of crypto assets?
That's a great way of looking at it. A lot of our users treat it as an investment.
Yeah.
I think, so the data right now is over 90% of our users just hold it as an investment.
Right.
Very few actually exchange it out. And I think that's a sign that people are treating it as an investment account. They're treating it as a savings technology, which is, I think, Bitcoin's biggest feature right now. Things that are happening.
A store of value, potentially.
Exactly. It's a store of value for most people, and the data supports that.
But could it also be about the fact that for some of these merchants, they simply don't accept Bitcoin as a way to purchase their goods? So there's a block there, at least for now. Is that some part of the story too?
It is.
How many of the merchants that you're talking to?
Very few.
Yeah.
I would say about 10 to 15 of our merchants out of 950 accept it. And I think that's like one of the ways that we look at the future is people right now don't want to spend their Bitcoin, and rightfully so. Since we launched, it's gone up 2 to 3x. Actually, yeah, about 2 to 3x today. And so we don't think that people actually want to spend something that is historically for them going up in value.
And what is the average Bitcoin back that your users are achieving here by using the app, or at least the function, the tool?
So our users have earned, our users can earn 7% back across all of our different merchants, and
that's
upwards
an average.
of an average,
Wow.
yeah. And then the actual, it's about 30%, I think, is our highest today back that you can earn. So some of our merchants are very generous, and they want to give Bitcoin back. They want to give cash back to incentivize these sales.
30% of the value of the purchase that a user's making. I mean, how big are these purchases?
So it varies.
I mean, to start shopping.
If you think about it, a lot of these digital products have next to no cost for distribution, and their margins are very high. Right. And so when we negotiate with those merchants, we ask them if they can go higher to convert more sales, because ultimately we're driving incremental sales for our merchants.
You recently tweeted that it's now 100 days, less than 100 days, to the halving. What do you mean by halving? Because we've talked about this on the show before. Again, I want to remind our viewers, what is the halving?
So the way that people actually, at its core, the way that people actually are getting Bitcoin is through mining. And mining is a very difficult operation. It takes a lot of computing power, and most people are never going to touch mining. It's sort of like, you know, we pump gas every day, but we don't have to be, you know, on the rig and mining the actual oil. So there's a whole network of miners out there that are actually getting the Bitcoin for us. And when they get it, there is a block reward that their computers are solving, this very complex algorithm that they're solving, and every 10 minutes they get that reward if they have solved this algorithm. That reward is going to go in half, meaning that it's going to be harder for them to get it, meaning that all of Bitcoin, hypothetically, because there will be less supply with the same amount of demand, hypothetically it should go up in value, less supply, more demand, and that's the idea behind the halving.
More relative demand. You know, every traditional investor that invests in traditional products here will be shouting at the television going, the whole point about financial markets and the way these things work is the moment you know something's going to happen, the price adjusts. So if it's less than 100 days, the moment that halving was mentioned and everyone understood what it was, the price would adjust. Is the halving already in the price? The impact of it already in the price, in your mind?
I personally don't think so.
Why?
Because there's so many. Bitcoin has only reached a tiny percent of the population.
We don't understand it yet.
People don't understand it, and I think that the institutional capital is still being set up. Like, you know, when I talk to my friends on the other side, like we're on the consumer side, we're making the easiest on-ramp, but when I talk to my friends that are in the deep institutional side that have the, you know, billion-dollar hedge funds, they're still like waiting, they're still like deploying, like ready to deploy capital, and I just don't think that it has been priced in yet. I think people want to see what this first halving, because this is the first halving after the run-up in 2017. We have no context of what happens when the masses now understand what the halving is. So potentially in like the one in 4 years, we might see something more priced in. Right now, I just don't think that there's enough savvy investors out there that really understand what is priced in, what's not, and what it actually means.